Okay, so let us speak about the classic Mini, as we say. Perhaps you could describe the dynamics of this small car, because it was a phenomenon in its time.
It was unique because that was, I believe, the first car with so-called transverse engine, east-west engine, as they said, which means that you had very low inertia over the polar inertia over the front axle, and that was what made the car to react to the steering so well.
Okay.
Which was then a big problem for most cars. It means that most of our competitors, except the Renault Alpine with the rear engine, they all had engine too far in the front.
Okay. So the car was travelling onwards.
Car wouldn't respond to steering, which means that you would have to use a pendulum and set it up more sideways to counteract this understeering tendency. And the Mini was so quick in response. That was one thing. The next thing was that it has also very little overhang in the back. That made again that the tail would flick away much quicker, which for some people was a disadvantage. It was for me an advantage, because by getting the car quickly sideways, it means that I could brake later, and I could even get it more sideways in the curve itself by using left foot braking.
And also the shortness of the car would fit on the road sideways anyway.
Yeah, that was, well, actually the car, it was a total length was small, but the distance between the axles were not so short.
No, okay.
Which means that the car was very stable. It wasn't bad at all. It was nice to drive. But the main point was it was narrower than the competitors as well.
Okay.
And if you think of a car, you must take the width, total width, then the overhangs, and then see this in a 30-degree angle. And take then the maximum width of the car, and that dictates to you the need for the size of the road.
Okay.
And because Mini was smaller, and if you take the width of a car and have a factor to multiply this, when you multiply this, it's a lot more than the actual width of a car. And therefore, in comparison to other cars, we needed less road. And if you need less road, then your line round the bend has a longer radius.
So you can go faster.
We can go much faster through the bend. So this was one of the secrets of a Mini. The ability to change the direction very quickly, and the ability to have a more perfect line through the bends, more direct line, made the Mini faster. We were not faster than the competitors on the straights.
No. You mentioned 30 degrees. Is this an optimum angle, or is this just an average angle?
This is no, it's not even average. I can't say in degrees what was mostly used angle, because the slower you are, the more you must put the car sideways.
Okay.
The reason is that any car, whatever construction and type, when the speed increases, all cars change more and more towards oversteering. Or if it's very badly understeering, the steering is reduced by the increasing speed.
I have no idea why that would be. Why would a car oversteer more the faster it's going?
There are many factors. One factor would be, for instance, that when you are going faster, you have a dynamic uplift for your rear axle. It gets lighter.
Okay.
Less wheel load or axle load means less traction, and having the certain centrifugal force, it's throwing the car more sideways.
So this is to do with dynamics of the car, not aerodynamics?
That's aerodynamics.
Okay.
That's one part.
Complex. Okay, so we have the Mini's dynamic behavior.
Plus, the next thing is, when the speed increases, the wheels are not being kept so well on the ground, they are bouncing.
Yeah, that's true.
And the bouncing will then also reduce your sideways stability. There are many small factors.
So to return to the Mini, we have its dynamic behaviour,
Yes.
the shortness of the vehicle.
Yes.
Were there any other distinctive advantages that were peculiar to that model?
It was peculiar because it had 10-inch wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And now having 10-inch wheels, they are lighter than the 15-inch wheels, or 13 what the competitors were using, which means that you need less force, power, torque to accelerate a light wheel than a big wheel. It means that the smaller the wheels are, the lighter the combination tire and wheel, and therefore that car would accelerate better. So the small wheels gave the advantage of better acceleration on good surface. But it was a big disadvantage on gravel.
Because
on gravel you need the longitudinal grooves of the tire and the shoulders to guide you on any soft surface, whether it's gravel, mud, sand or snow. On ice makes no difference, but on any soft sand surface where the shoulders can dig in, a bigger diameter gives you a longer length. If we call it as a ski effect, like skis on snow, the ski effect is more efficient when the ski is longer.
Okay. So when you come to gravel or snow, then the Mini is twitchy.
Yes.
It's not following a true path in the same way
not
as
easily as a bigger car, but as rally is based not on comfort on straights, but on the total time. And therefore, with the Mini being twitchy, you could use it to your advantage. So if you could twitch it into a bend quicker. And therefore, again, even on gravel, which nobody thought Mini would be good, it was one of the fastest cars.
Even though the ground clearance is low and
all these disadvantages. It was a question of some card. Because we used some cars which we used to use in Finland, and in Finland, because this is a country of jumping. There's no other country in the world which has these small hills where you are a third of the time airborne. And it means when you land, the idea is that you land not only on wheels, but you land on the wheels and some car. It's part of the car touching the road when you land.
Okay, so you were almost skiing.
Skidding,
yes.
And the point was that in the rest of the world, the people were having some cars as something if you have a rock on the road. To avoid having a sump failure. And the Finnish sump cars, they always had a rounded edge. Because if it's too sharp, it will dig in and you will turn over forward. So I have done as well.
I've managed to avoid it so far.